are recording. Welcome, everyone, to the cursed DCBuzz. We have had a number of little gremlins, poltergeists taking over our situation, but I believe we are ready for action. Am I actually being seen? I don't know. Let me see. It's a dark and stormy night. I'm being very. Let's see. Let's see if we can illuminate the lighting here. Ooh, that's very bright, but shadowy. Let's see. How about oh, I do good. What if we had a little bit of extra mood lighting? No, the hot ghost is in his own space. So, this is a little bit of what's going on with horror and with the tech stuff because I basically am trying to control everything while I'm sitting at my desk and I can't hear a thing. So, I am going to switch my backdrop to none. Wow, I'm looking really down. Hello, everyone. Let me take the voice changer off.
And let me do a little bit of a cheat. For those of you that have had me in class, you know this little button that I have that controls everything. Yes. Hello and welcome. We are trying to do a little bit of a thing about horror lighting, and I am looking at myself on the camera now, and I am horrifying. Jessica, how am I coming in? Okay. All right, everybody. We're here to talk about horror lighting. We're here to talk about all of the different stuff that we can do when it comes to horror and lighting and why we want to think about horror lighting. But I want to say, I love apps. I've got the lightning going off here, and this is one of the things we're going to talk about on this setup on here. Okay, so now getting a little normal, let's talk about why we're here. Okay, look at my lighting right now. Okay, this is definitely not horror lighting, but it is a bit, shall I say, horrific. Jessica, I'm going to bring your mic up. What do you think?
It's not bad, but it could be better.
It could be better. It could be better. It could be better. And what I'm going to be doing for a little bit is talking about what you can do with lighting when it comes to horror and the little things you can do. But I will tell you right up front that I am going to be living by an adage that I tell a lot of my students: adapt and overcome. Do with what you can with what you have where you are. The MacGyver, as our program director Bob Truitt has asked, because we are down a crew member. So it is just myself and lab specialist Jessica Cobine running the show here. So I'm running everything from right here. I brought my remote controls, I brought my apps, and I am going to try and take you through some of the things that might be horror stories that you would encounter as you're doing your productions as well. But let's talk about horror. Why do we have horror lighting? Well, let's take a look at something. Bright light, sunny, happy. But once again, if I were to kill these lights, notice the dark. Notice the shadows. Let me bring up another light here.
If I had my microphone, I'd say, notice the spill.
You have the microphone. You're hot.
Notice the spill on the wall.
Notice the spill, but also
Look
notice
at those shadows.
Notice what we have here. We have the light and the dark. This is the bottom line of horror, is the play of the shadows. What people don't realize when they hear the term 3-point lighting you can have a negative point of light. You can have an area that is dark, is in shadow, because of the fact that we are trying to manipulate the audience into coming into a dark world. And that's the key with horror. The idea is that things could spring out of the shadows. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking a little bit about manipulating those shadows. So I'm from time to time going to be moving around. I've got my shotgun mic from the camera on the boom arm, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some things you can do with subtle adjustments. Can you backlight on a negative? I saw one question come up on the backlighting.
Yeah. Can you backlight on a negative point?
We're backlighting right now, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit on here, because that's the big thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that it is the enemy of lighting, and horror lighting is the background. If I go ahead and Jessica, if you could assist me for a second, can you turn this light off? I should have put the control in there. Just turn it off. Okay. Notice I have just become flat and just nothing. Flat lighting is the enemy. So let me turn on the other light.
Travis said it took the R away, the backlight without. And yes, it really did.
Two, one. Love the apps, love the apps, love the apps. There we go. Okay, so now I'm back to flat lighting. Let's
And
bring
you
the
are bright.
intensity down a little bit. Okay, so right now I am running 2 lights. And you'll notice that even though I've got a little bit of shadow, where is the shadow coming from? Coming from the boom. Can't move the boom. So this is another horror that you deal with when it comes to lighting, is the fact that you've got to be aware of all of the shadows on here. So we're going to make a last minute adjustment and bring the light over. Sometimes that's all you have to do, is just simply move a light. Now I'm going to bring my boom back in up here, make sure it's all okay. And I've seen Justin on here making some comments. So Justin, am I basically being heard again?
Yes, sir. Hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I realize that Jessica got off the headphones. So
Yeah.
here's what's going to be happening. Because we're down by a crew of 1, Jessica from time to time will be jumping off of the headphones and off the microphone and onto the camera, or acting as gaffer, but we're doing what we need to do. So I'm going to turn this light back on and show something right here. Just by bringing that light on, notice the backlight. Notice the backlight there. So I now still have depth. The only problem we're running into, and this is one of the issues with a little bit of the tech stuff we had to deal with today, is the fact that you're seeing a lot of massive shadows on the back of the wall. However, this can actually be used to the advantage of horror. Jessica, would you do me a favor and grab the roses? Actually, I need to show something here. Can you widen it out for a second? Can you widen the camera out? Thank you. Please be patient as we deal with this. I brought props. I brought some flowers, window, skeleton, and my buddy Alphonse is with me here. And we're going to show a little bit about what you can do with shadows and a little bit of what you can do with all these different things. So if you could come back in a little bit to the backdrop, and I'm going to show you what you can play around with on those shadows there.
You want all the way back to where you were?
Nah, let me stand up and let's go with the standing. And that'll be the last I ask of you for right now on that, because I want you to hear the audio. Alan, where are you? Okay, so. Something simple. Let's take a look on here. Let's kill this light. And let's put it on the back a little bit. But you know what? Let's start playing with some stuff. Step in?
Yeah.
She's telling me to step in.
Oh, you got this one off. That's fine.
Oh,
I'm trying to fix the light and have it off.
there we go. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and understanding. Oh my God, I'm looking more like Orson Welles every day. Okay, so what we're running into is yeah, it's going to be a little difficult for them to see on that backdrop. Let's see. You know what? Come in a little closer. Yeah, bring it right out there. The further away, that way a little bit. This way a little bit. Okay. Yeah, this backdrop is not helping us.
It's not.
Give us a second. We'll be doing this momentarily. Yeah. Rotate over to the wall. Okay, so this will give a little bit of, oh, that actually is going to give a lot better. All
You
right.
wanna come in a little on it?
Yeah, coming on the wall a little bit. This is what I wanted to make sure on here is there we go. Is this out of camera view?
It is not. It is all in camera view.
Okay, will you do me a favor and pan over to the wall over here? Yeah, we're gonna have to adjust this a little bit.
You mean the wall that I am on?
Yeah. We lost, like I said, we lost a crew member. This is so much fun. All right, Jessica, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna be evil to you. I need you on camera. Or follow my directions. Talk to these people. Tell them what I'm doing. I
He
am
is
moving the
doing
background.
something. I have no idea what. He's moving the background here. Hi, I'm not usually on camera. And I also don't have headphones or a chat box, so we can't. Okay, now I have a chat box. Well, I'm glad you guys are all at least enjoying seeing the movement of all of this, because this is going to be very interesting.
Okay, get back on headphones.
Yeah, better.
I didn't say scoot. Jessica for president 2024. Ah, this is fun. This is what I wanted to do, is enjoy this. Get on the headset. Yes. Thank you, Jessica. You're on headset. I'm still being heard, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Cool.
I moved the lighting because you're over there.
Now go ahead and move. So move the camera. This is what I wanted to show.
Where are you aiming?
Aim the camera at the back right there. And what I'm going to do now is ask Jessica to lower the light down to the blinds. There we go. Oh, yes, there we go. So now, Jessica, if you would tilt the camera down a little bit. So notice the blinds, the light, the motivated. But here is again the problem. I moved the backlight out of the way. Do you know what the enemy is of all lighting? Is this wall. The wall is the enemy, but also I've got the light on a spotlight right now on here. So I'm going to go to the barn. I'm going to go back to the full lighting so I can talk about what I've been doing. Okay, so far so good. And my wife is watching.
She is. And she said hello.
Let's turn this off for a second. Okay, so what I was doing, moving things around. Come on, Alphonse, let's talk. I'm going to use you for a minute. My moral support. So take a look what we're running into. This is why we have to worry about where we're placing our subject on here, because of the fact that I have got one of the lights going straight against the wall and we're getting these harsh shadows. Now, picture, if you will, would you want that to be the shot that you have of your actors bearing against the wall? Let's see if I was in here. Take a look at that shot right there. Okay, that shot is something that could be a positive depending on how you play with it, or it could be a negative. Let's look at it with just the light on. Look at how just with the blinds and just with the one light casting on the character, we get the separation, we get the blinds, we get the movement. Now, what if I were basically to, where are my flowers?
They're right here.
And across in front of the camera, do the boom. And now I add some texture. Am I being heard okay, Jessica?
You are.
I add some texture to the shadow. The further you can make it sharper, the closer, the further away. You can adjust stuff. You can make this outside. You could even have somebody on your set basically blowing the windows and it's nighttime. This is what you want to think about, is the shadows. But just like this, if I was on a regular 3-point lighting and just set this here, make sure he's all staring at you, and put him here. That's not exactly the best looking light, is it? And unfortunately, this is something we have actually seen in some of the productions that are put in by beginning students, because they seem to be afraid to move away from the wall.
We are using your lighting kit.
Yes, and we are using the lighting kit that is provided by Full Sail. on here. But look what happens. Just get a little bit of separation away from the wall. But now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the other light. Wrong one. Okay, but look what's happening now. What's going on is the light is the shadows are being shot to the ground. We have got the light up at about a 45-degree angle, but you know what the biggest thing that's happening here that's part of the problem? We've got on a spotlight. So let's get rid of the spotlight on here. And now basically, let me have the reflector actually. But I just gave you the spot, coming back around. This is so much fun. You're getting your money's worth here, everybody. This is one of the items that comes with your lighting kit. It is a spotlight. You don't have to use it. This is one of the things that people are afraid of, is that they are worried about too much intense light. Horror lighting and the horror of lighting is the idea that people are afraid to manipulate the light. They're afraid to adjust the light. And that's part of what I was wanting to show a little bit of here tonight, is about the idea of don't fear the shadows, don't fear that kind of stuff. And I brought in Alfonso to basically kind of show a little bit of some stuff. But what I want to do is I'm going to ask Jessica if can you wear the headphones and still stand in front of the camera?
We will see.
Okay, so I'll make sure I'm still being heard. All right. My friend here is probably the best thing you can do to practice lighting and practice horror lighting. I am on a $5 wig head, $10 on sale mask from Spirit Halloween, and I think this was $15 hat from Spirit Halloween. Got on sale. Guess what time of year it is? It's sale time. And what can I do with this? The reason why I'm making sure and trying to move around is I'm making sure I'm being heard on the microphone. That's why I asked Jessica if she could do this, is because now that I've got him in place, I'm going to bring him up to right about eye level. And now, I can now manipulate things without needing to be there and looking at them. If you're on your own, this is going to be something that it could be potentially a lifesaver, because I can now, on my own, and I'll move the microphone around with me, adjust the lights myself without having to be in front of the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the overhead lights again. And I'm going to start playing around with the lighting. And I'm going to use my friend there to try and basically show what I could do with different things that are going on here. So, Jessica,
Yes.
how are we looking on there?
You are looking a little backlit by the wall.
Perfect. Okay, so from here forward, all of it is going to be just the basic 3 lights that we have from the lighting kit with a little bit of extras thrown in. Come with me. So I just set down my phone. Hit the microphone. I just set down my phone and I can't see where I put, oh, I put it over there. I've also left Jessica's microphone live so I could be heard on both sides. So let's get back into that. Let's get back into it. Okay, so this is fun. Am I being heard here? Okay, so basically, I'm working with the blind gag, as someone was saying on this. I just want to point out all of this can be done inexpensively. Everything that I have hanging on that rack basically was about probably $10 for the flowers, $10 for the blinds, $10 for the skeleton on sale. And I think the most expensive thing hanging up there is my shirt. But I am going to manipulate it a little bit more so we can look at the backdrop and see what we got on the background for the shadows. So let's get something different in here. Let's go a little darker. Let's bring up the intensity a little bit. And let's move the blinds.
Yes, he's still working on them.
You can talk to them.
I'd have to move closer. Can't hardly hear me. So right now, what he's doing is just trying to fix the blinds that are on this clothing rack over here. You can kind of see a little of it now.
What I've done accidentally, and I don't mind telling anybody, is that when I clamped this up here, I clamped the turning mechanism for the blinds. There we go. Okay. So we're going to put it back up here. Now, I really want it to be seen that I am doing this very safely. I've got stuff mounted down here. I had a sandbag on. And this is where I lose my job. It's worked in rehearsals. Why is this not staying? Ah, I know why it's not staying. Jessica, could you come here a second?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, can you hold that? That was the problem. I had my wonderful assistant, Jessica, holding on to the blinds while I clamped them in. There we go. Okay, this worked earlier.
Well, while we're over here, where'd you get the clamps from? For the
Lowe's.
audience.
Lowe's, $20. Okay, there we go. All right, so Working our way back to lighting. Okay, against the wall, please. So we're balanced at a certain light. I'm gonna lower the intensity of the light. We're gonna get better shadows. Are you getting Alfonso?
Yes.
Okay. Jessica hates the spill. What are you gonna do to fix it?
Barn doors.
Okay, Jessica's gonna fix with the barn doors. And this is the kind of stuff you want to do as you're looking through. Use your gut. Now, look at what we have. I've got color temperature 27K, 2700K. I'm going to take this all the way to blue. This is now 7500 Kelvin, but what am I balanced on the camera? Let me look. My white balance is 4800. So this is throwing, definitely is looking very blue. So right, so early morning sunrise, kind of late at night, dark, maybe the light from the window coming in the other way, or going back to the effects scenario.
So that's a little of the moonlight that you could do.
Now, with the intensity raised and with the color temperature up to blue and setting a higher rate, now we've got our friend sitting in the room as the lightning comes in and it's flashing ominously. So we do have 3-point lighting happening because we've got a moment here where we've got dark behind our character, we've got deep shadows, we've got lightning. Well, let's go ahead and let's add a backlight a little bit.
Well, you got one comment saying they like this. Another comment saying add a little smoke and it would be perfect. The reason why we're not adding smoke is we don't have the smoke machine permit or whatever it is with the file marshal.
Now,
Are you using an automatic setting for the flashing or is it?
yes, it is on the GVM 80s.
So if you have the GVM 80s,
But
it's on the app.
so now, a little bit of backlight. Jessica, what do you think
Yes.
about the backlight?
It looks like it's in the frame.
Well, we're stuck with the fact that that camera angle, again.
Now it's off frame.
A little bit more. There we go.
It looks like that's kind of overdoing everything.
Okay. Let's bring it back a little bit.
The GVM 80s are part of the kit,
Part of the tech kit.
part of the tech kit.
Just that blind with the light going on gives you that little bit of extra on here. Again, and for everyone here, thank you for your understanding on us being down one crew member, but I'm hoping that you're getting a little bit of stuff in here because this is a very basic setup. I have only 3 lights on right now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little bit of extra onto here. And let's move Alphonse a little bit out of the way. We'll make him work in the shadows.
And hopefully this is showing you that you can do this by yourself or with one person.
Can you do me a favor and
Yes.
reframe me back up?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone's asking about when the kit is done, right before composition visual design. Okay, how are we doing so far? Let's bring Alphonse down a little bit. There. But now, a little bit of side light is what I kind of just said. We got the light flashing, we got this going, but you know, we've got a little bit of, huh? Exactly. I'm used to having Leota. We won't talk about Leota. What does that look like? Ooh. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to come over a little bit here, but I'm working in my study.
Don't
little
be
bit.
afraid to use practical lights from around your house.
A little bit of practical light. Now, Alphonse is lurking in the backdrop. We've got a little bit of lighting happening here. I'd probably move the light over a little bit so it's pointing this way a little more towards this part of the wall. There we go. So now we have a little bit of light from the practical light. We got our backlight illuminating our character lurking behind me. We have the shadows going on with the extra light kind of bouncing above me a little bit. So 1, 2, 3 points of light. This is a practical. So basically, I'm using this as a supplement for the material. But what I want you to know is that as I'm talking and looking at the monitor, Jessica is making these nice little tweaks to the barn doors. Lighting control is the key to all of this. Lighting control is going to be the key to everything you do. And I'm showing on GVM 80s from the tech kit on here, but let me see if I can get this going.
Now you should just be getting the shadows flashing on the wall, not on him.
Now we're seeing the dark here. I've killed the light in the desk lamp. I can also change the color, dark, give it an overhead tinge, go bright blue. And I'm doing this with a $10 light bulb from Costco into a practical lamp, controlling it from an app.
Just
So
an Aster color temperatures.
color temperatures 4,800 on the camera. Currently, I am at the equivalent of about 27, 2,800 on the desk lamp. Here we're running about the same as the other one, but I'm basically showing that you can use the other because I want the blue light to be more for the lightning because it's more of that intense flashing. It's more of that intense kind of dynamic. It gives a little bit of better punch. Let me see if I can go ahead and change the color temperature on the lightning. There's orange. There is now orange lighting, and I don't like it as much on here. That's 2,700. If I take this off, yeah, it looks a little more daylighty. Let's bring this up to about 4,900. You can see we're starting to get into, now it's white because I'm at 4,800 on the light. I'm at 4,800 on the light, 4,800 on the camera. Notice the lightning is now white. I take it down to 2,700. The lighting is now orange. I take it all the way up to 7,500. Now we get blue lightning. And you can do this, like I said, these I'm using because these are the lighting kit that is done by the students, that is gotten from by the students in their tech package. But let me go back to, let's do this.
Now, we did get a comment about different colors beyond what we have right here, like the reds, dark
Oh.
blues.
These
etc.
ones are known as bicolored lights, so therefore they are only within a certain range. Let's see. But la, 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 la.
Yeah, somebody in the chat did mention about gels. You can get those.
You can get gels on that also on there. I wanted to go into basically some of the extras on this one, but let's see. Where is my, here we go. Let's go back into this light here.
And we are filming on the FX6, which is your camera. We are using all your gear.
There we go. Let's bring the desk lamp up here a little bit.
That's barely catching. It's catching you on there, but it's barely catching in the camera.
Yeah, these are LED lights. Let's see. Dark green is probably a little bit worse to use. There we go.
You look purple.
That's purple. There we go. The deep evil red. What am I reading? What evil? What's lurking behind me? Oh my God. Help, 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 help.
Somebody said the green looked better.
The green look better?
Said you look like you were in Gotham.
How's that? Now I look like I'm the Hulk. So you can have fun with a lot of this stuff on here. And really, the bottom line was I wanted everyone to see. That's why I didn't mind that I was basically down a crew member, because it's going to happen. This kind of thing is going to happen to you when you're on any production. And so it's figuring out how to use what tools and everything that you're doing on here. So I want to make sure I get one thing covered in here before I take off. Let's see. Where did I steal this light from? Oh, yeah. One light. 2, 3. This still counts as a point of light. This still counts as a point of light. So I'm going to finish up with this style of lighting here for the next couple minutes, and then we're going to take some questions, is the fact that I haven't done a lot here in terms of what I'm using for my gear. I'm using the FX6, which is the gear camera that's going on here. The microphone I've taken off of the camera and have put onto a boom arm here. I've got the lights on for the different items, but I've gone out and I've purchased a nice, simple, inexpensive desk lamp that you can do color effects with. This is one that can also be run by Alexa, Google, that kind of stuff on here. I've got a $9 set of blinds that is literally going to go into my home office when I'm done with this. The clamps I had going onto it are basic clamps from Lowe's that I purchased during the pandemic for about 20 bucks to use for clamps on my reflector boards. And the skeleton on sale at Spirit Halloween, and the standing rolling rack that I have for everything basically was, I think, $20 at Bed Bath & Beyond. So the bottom line of a lot of stuff is the fact that, yes, you get the gear package when you get to CVD, and you'll be using it going forward. But beforehand, even if you don't have the gear package, there are ways of going out and getting inexpensive lights. There are ways of being able to add. Go to a store and look at the LED lights. Somebody mentioned about the LED party lights.
Or
These
even
things-
just look around your house.
yeah, look around your house for stuff that may be in there that you could use, because if this was a regular house light, that's what the light would be off of my material right now. So if I were to balance it and do white balance towards the camera, I'm getting the light here from this $10 house LED house light. So instead of needing every single thing, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to questions, because I'll be honest with you, I expected to be doing a little bit more if we had our other crew member. Yeah, no, that's because I've got this on. No, hang on. Yeah. But my main objective was showing everybody, even in the toughest situations, even when it's just one person or two people, you can figure out how to do things. We are going live. We are live streaming this. If I was doing a production, yeah, I'd be stopping in between each take, redoing setups, being able to move things around on here. But you can even see with the full lights I've got on of the lights that are in this podcast room, we're still getting the light from the lightning happening behind us. So let's go ahead and let's see if there are any questions or anybody want me to talk about any particular setup on this kind of thing.
There are a lot of questions.
All right.
So somebody asked about the reflectors.
Oh, right there. Is that the GBM one? No, those are
No,
mine.
it's not.
Actually, give me mine. Okay, what's the question about the reflectors? Actually, yeah,
Just
give me the
about how would
GBM
you
ones.
use them?
Yeah, give me the GBM ones.
How would you use them?
Yeah. Let me show you how we would use them. I swear to God, when you walked past, I thought the camera was twitching. Okay, so this one is the one that comes with the lighting kit. I have my own. Wow, mine are bigger than the schools. Okay. This is where I get to do a magic trick. Stop the reflector. This is your friend for horror lighting. This I was going to show before when we had some other stuff. Let's see. Basically, if you take a look at it right here, black can be used to kind of absorb light a little bit. The silver can give a little bit of a cold feeling to it. Jessica, could you come here? Can you bounce towards me? Okay, see, you can see it a little bit on here. Let me go through here. Right here, you can see a little bit of silver adding onto it. You can see the changes on here. You could use this for silver, but if you use black, it actually, I'm going to move it a little closer. It actually starts absorbing light a little bit. So this is a way of good light control, but also bring some of your light. You can kick off some of your lighting. Like I said, this is the one thing I did not go into because I was running a little short. Okay. But on your reflectors, it does unzip. and you have white on the other side to use as a softbox. Go ahead with another question. This wasn't good.
All right. They asked about the anonymous lighting, the silhouettes like we saw at the beginning.
The what?
The silhouette that you saw at the beginning.
Oh, how did I do that?
Yeah, and how would you do all that? The anonymous.
Oh. Honestly, okay, let's come back in. This is the key to. Let's bring Alphonse in.
Do you need an extra hand? Are you good?
Hmm?
Do you need a hand? Or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
So. Talk amongst yourselves. When I bumped it, I moved it. Okay, so be careful on that kind of thing. All right, so walk them through it as I do it. Basically, here is Alphonse.
Pretend he has shoulders and a back and skin.
What I'm doing is basically, he normally would be blocking the light. Can I still be heard?
Yep.
Okay, so if I have it to the point where it's right behind, if he had shoulders, you can see a little bit of the outline right around. In fact, I could even kind of do right there. Ooh, I like that one. So you see how basically the camera is picking up that there is an object there because the background is because of the fact that the light is filling in the background. I can even go up a little bit if I wanted to. And you can see how now it's not really showing anything because of the fact that the light is not really helping us. So
I do see a couple people with their hand raised, but if you could just put your questions in the chat, that'll be easiest since he
there's
does,
a Q&A also.
or the Q&A, because he doesn't have headphones on.
So let's take this to 5,600. Let's bring the intensity up a little bit. And you see what's happening.
No, inside the Q&A. That's a separate window over here at the bottom.
What's enhancing it is the fact that I've got some spill going on off of the side here. Yeah, this one's a little harder to show on this setup right now. It would be great.
But it is just a single light.
It
that
is
you
just
can
a single
see.
light. But what's helping it, what's enhancing it is the other light that comes on and off. Okay, next one, because I can't say that one that good.
You mentioned the app. That's just the GVM light or app.
Oh, the app is for the GVM, and the other light I'm using is not saying a brand name. I got it from Costco. It's called FEIT Fate Electric. Was $15 for a set at Costco. I think I got like 3 or 4 lamps on that, and I use these at home. I use for when I'm doing my Zoom sessions. I do have a lighting rig, but if I need to from time to time, my overhead
Hold on,
light.
you just hit the whiteboard. No, somebody else hit whiteboard.
Okay, somebody.
Okay. That was interesting.
That was fun. Okay, great. My Zoom is haunted. What other questions have we got?
The lights on your camera, is it just for show when it's lit, or does it provide lighting as well as the ones off camera? Oh, this light that's on the desk, is that the one you're talking about? The practical lamp?
It
Yes.
depends on what you want to do. You can actually, there are ways that if you were to light this and you want it to be controlled, You could fake a light above, but no, I've got this set up to be used as a practical light with a color temperature controllable bulb. So this is basically a home Alexa controlled bulb or a Bluetooth controlled light that you can find on here. When I upload this to, oh yeah, I should have mentioned that. When I upload this to YouTube and make it available for replay, I'm going to put a list of recommended stuff that's little DIY stuff, along with a link back to Professor Baker from Composite Visual Design. His recommendations are a little bit more, how shall I put this? If you're really needing some intense stuff. What next?
Or lighting using the sun.
Huh?
Or lighting using the sun.
Oh, the Wicker Man. It's the same thing. It's lighting control. What you do with horror lighting is you would use the reflectors and you would get a little bit more of the silver, the cold, the black. Use the black and the silver. Silver is going to give you cold. Black is going to absorb light. But what you want to think about is the fact that you're looking to create shadows. So find something that can give you a little bit of extra shadow. Find a way. In fact, one of the sheets I really love, goes right back to the whole flowers thing, is find a tree. Find some foliage to break things up on that. $9. So make use of your reflectors. Oh, one of the biggest horrors I've got to say, and I meant to mention it since someone asked it, the last thing you want to do is basically turn on your house lights and say, okay, this camera is great for low light, so I'm going to just use existing light because I can see everything. Hopefully you're seeing that we've been shaping the light. We've been using the side, the front, the top, the back. And the biggest thing I want people to take away from here before I take the next question is I am fingertip to fingertip is about 6 feet, and I'm still not at the wall yet. So I'd say about what? 7 feet, 8 feet from the wall is where I was standing.
Maybe about,
Okay.
yeah.
Again, this is your enemy, is the backdrop. You want to come away from the wall because you want to let the shadows in the background play well with you. Anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
How can you just decide what is the right lighting to use? I see people using this lighting equipment like the light meters.
Oh, light metering, we're not going to go into, but what it is, what you would be using with a light meter on would be if you're really dialing in really specifically each individual light, because light meters are designed to take either a reflective meter, which means it's the light coming back at the lens, or they're designed to take light meter readings from an overall area or from specific lights. So it would be kind of like if you were using a meter to dial into a specific f-stop and a specific f-stop for depth of field. So a light meter would be used if you needed to really get down to nitty gritty. And being honest, for a lot of beginning people, the histogram in the camera, the zebras that you have, and all of the peaking for focus really are some really good tools beyond the light meter. I would say if you were doing more cinema work or using cinema lenses would be where you would want to play with a light meter, because those are going to need more finicky tweaking. They've got a little bit of a different way the light is seen. There's a thing called a T-stop versus an F-stop, which is true transmission of light. So that's when light meters come into play, is when you're using more cine lenses, more really manual control. And I would actually say a little bit of a different sensor than would be on this camera, more of something like a Dragon, a red camera, Sony Venice, that kind of thing, FX9, something of the higher end, and FX3 with DCI, maybe this, if you were doing full DCI cinema lens, really deck this thing out for production, then you need a light meter. But as it comes in the configuration out of the box, the histogram, The zebra and the peking are your friends.
And training your eye, like Professor Baker keeps saying.
Hey, I say it too.
You say it too, but he says it a lot, and I hear it every month in Intro to Film and Video.
Yes, for those of you that have had Intro to Film and Video, you've met Professor Baker. I don't know how many people are what part of the degree.
Well, I do recognize some names that have just passed not that too long ago in portfolio too. So,
But also, and this is for just so everybody knows,
This is my own mixer that I brought in because I love this little device because she lets me have so much fun.
okay, we have several that's saying project and portfolio 3.
oh, there's some project
Does.
before then they've seen.
Okay, somebody
I'm
was
just port two.
taking
Remember,
Intro to
I'm just
Film
port
right
two.
now. Several in Intro to Film.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Well, how many do we wind up having?
We've bounced around between like 37 and 42.
Oh, Justin, I know you're an FOP too. Thank you for coming. I saw your name first when this came up on here. So I want somebody to say, how did I do with only running off of one crew and only Jessica and my good buddy Alfonso here? Do I get a thumbs up?
Got an awesome two.
Voting for Alfonso.
Somebody loved Alfonso.
He's my buddy. He's my pal. Trust me, I'm going to say something. Lighting dummies are one of the best things you can do. You can get. I would say this is October. Let's see, it's October 29th. Go to someplace like Spirit Halloween on November 1st. Get one of these wig dummies. Look at some of the masks that they have there and get something you can put on one of your light stands and just play with, or put on even just a on any kind of stand and be able to just mess around with the lighting. A lot of the stuff I do off of this, or I'll use it for my storyboards. And I love that the lightning has been going the whole time. I hope I haven't caused anybody an epileptic seizure. I'm gonna make sure with that. Here, wait a minute. I have to see something. I'm going to be honest on something here. Nope, I can't take it off. The tag is still on the mask because it lets the hat stay on easier. All right, give me some.
All right. Bill wants to know what your aperture, focal length, and the mode is.
Okay, I should be at F10 right now. I am at, okay, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm at high base ISO on here, or high base gain, depending on what you want, F10, right?
Yes.
F10, because I wanted the depth of field.
And yeah, you're 65 millimeters and you're 7.9 feet on.
65 millimeters, 7.9 feet focus from the camera. And that was for this session.
And yes, we are cheating with autofocus because he's been moving around and I've been back and forth. So.
And thank you. But one of the things that was part of it is I wanted a wide depth of field. I needed autofocus working for this. This is a live stream. But one of the things I would have changed for this is I probably would have gone to low base ISO, and I probably would have opened up a little bit wider and then played with the iris or the NDs, because what I would have really loved to have, would have loved to have had him back here in soft focus, because that would have given a little bit of extra horror to that, would have been the depth of field on here.
Yes, which ISO you're on.
These cameras for CVD are balanced out for gain. So I'm at high base gain 0 dB. That would be the equivalent of, if you're thinking ISO wise, I think it's the equivalent. You know what? I can actually answer that. Give me 1 second. Is there any question you can answer while I'm looking this up?
Well, there's a question that says, what was the name of the cards you recommended for shaping the shadows in front of the light? I'm not quite sure. Were you talking about Because if you were, that's just right in your kit. Or were you talking about the barn doors that come with your light?
Yeah, go ahead.
These.
Ah, there it is. Okay, if you're thinking in terms of
You
ISO,
said we can make them. I don't know what that.
I'm at about equivalent of 5,000 ISO at an F10. You don't want to do that. I'm doing that just for this, but I'm giving a straight answer on that. So I just want everybody to know I'm cheating. I'm doing a live stream. So if I was doing this for a regular production, I would probably be on low base ISO, which would be about 200. And I would be running a probably about a F4 with the lights a little brighter, because it's going to look really dark. And if I was needing to be wide open and I'm overexposing, I could actually bring in the ND filters and knock it down and still have the wide aperture. So there's a lot of tweaking you can do. I was giving just some basic, just general ideas on playing with lighting. It's a combination of lighting and camera is really what you wind up having to do. So I'm thinking one of the ones I need to do is basically set up a couple preset lighting setups and play with depth of field and everything. What other stuff?
So that question I was saying about, it's the cards that are cut into shapes like the blinds.
Oh, the cucalorises. Oh, yeah, they're called cucalorises. I like making my own, but you'll be learning some of that in CBD as well. But literally, it's find an object, find something that you like the shadows from. I mean, one of the ones I was going to try and do is I have pieces of the skeleton that I could play with, but I'm loving the fact that every so often that shadow's going off back there. So,
And you could take a picture frame that's empty without the glass and just like run tape over it and put that, and that would create some blinds or something. Do you know the long legs?
long legs. Name sounds familiar, but I can't think of it.
Okay, because we have a question about how do you get the lighting from that movie. Sorry, William, we're not familiar with that movie.
And that's why I raised my hand, because it had to be explained further. Okay.
Well, he won't
Long
be
legs, and I think it was like the Hansel and Gretel remake, where they got this
William,
lighting where like it's,
can't
you hear
hear
me?
you.
You can't hear me?
No, Mike can't hear you.
Oh, well,
He
I'll just
doesn't
ask
have
you.
headphones.
Okay. Basically, how do I make a movie where the background is extremely dark, but the person in the front is completely in, like, you can see them and it's not grainy? Like, it's kind of weird to explain, but like, that's why I use that movie, because if you look at the trailer, you'll see it.
The background is extremely dark and the person is not.
Oh, background is, oh, okay. That would be almost the equivalent of similar to Rembrandt lighting, where you would need to basically be having the lights coming like I have them now, but instead of doing the low backlight, you would have a high backlight. So if you basically were to shoot the light to the light at the 45 degree and come down and really make sure to shoot the shadows to the ground and bring your backlight up very high, then that basically would be able to do that. But what also you have to make sure is you need the person away from the wall even a little bit more.
And that's also where controlling the light comes in, using your barn doors to cut off a lot of that spill. What would you recommend for an outdoor nighttime shoot for a horror film? Talent is in a field.
Outdoor nighttime. Ooh, you're getting into some heavy territory. But if you've got the GM the GVM line that we give with the tech kit, they actually are battery powered. But what I would recommend is you could potentially the problem is you got to run battery. So I would say, look at some LED work lights that are battery operated that don't flicker. And you could always use those because most of the time they're color balanced at like 2700, 3200 and there. So the key is look at the color temperature of the light you've got. Get it like you could get like a battery powered work light, something like from Lowe's. I love Lowe's. You know, I can go there for a lot of different stuff on there. And then what you do is you match the color temperature on the camera to what you have on the light. So if you've got a 2700 Kelvin light and you match a 2700 on your camera, it's going to look white. If you go below that, so I would say the reason I'm saying 2700 is that's some of the lights they have. I'll tell you another place you can get stuff. IKEA has lights because they have grow lights. You can actually get ones that are 2700 and you can get ones that are 5200 for grow lights. So if I was outside with a battery powered light, I would get something that would be close to about 3200 and play with the white balance on the camera. It's the combination. It is the balance, if you will, between what you're having the camera see and what the lighting's doing. It's not just turn on the lights and set the camera. It really is that whole control. And that's the biggest thing that I think can take away from where I'm going with this is the fact that this is one of the reasons we tell people don't use auto, because it is that whole idea that you could have a 2700 Kelvin light, a 5600 Kelvin light. I can have a lightning effect on a wall that's basically a 3200. And where I pick where I am on the white balance on the camera is what's going to give me the overall look on here. So if you start from where you want to look, what the look is you want to have, you can play with it from there. If I want something overly orange, I need to make sure my camera is at a little bit of a higher Kelvin. So like maybe if it's at 4300, where it's kind of recommended, my lights go lower at 2700. If I want a little more blue, I basically make sure my camera's set at like maybe 3200, that 4000, and I go to 5600 on the lights. It really is that balance. It really is that play. But if you hit auto white balance, why are you bothering? Now, I will be also, for people that are using their phones, there are apps out there that you can do this exact same thing on. You can control the color temperature of the camera on your phone, and you can match it to the lights you're working with.
Any tips on light balancing when shooting raw?
No, we're not getting into raw. Sorry. If you want to talk about shooting raw, contact Professor Randy Baker or Professor Ryan Funk. If you haven't had either of these instructors yet, wait till you get there.
And the app you were just showing, that was which one?
Oh, the one I was using was for the light. The one that I used the Black Magic camera app.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I use the Black Magic camera app. It gives me full control. I will say one thing that I found very interesting is I'm going to be saying bluntly, I hate Adobe Rush, but the app on the on the phone, when you go into camera mode and you literally go from between automatic and manual, is a great color temperature meter. That's the only thing I found good about Adobe Rush Capture is it's a good color temperature meter. You're typing.
I am.
Okay.
Well, they said S-Log and start a raw now.
Oh, S-Log?
This answer is the same. Go to Professor Baker or Professor Funk.
Dynamic range. Dynamic range. Think you want you want to expose for the, oh yeah. You want to make sure you expose for the shadows.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Moving on.
Can light palette affect, or color palette affect how you light? Yes.
Oh yeah, for what you're trying to do, if you'll notice here, I'm on a very neutral table. I've got my computer here.
You can't notice because.
Oh, well, it was a little low. Okay, so I've got a brown table. Tilt down a little bit. Yeah, I'm on a neutral color table, white backdrop, drop ceiling on here. I have got basically flat lighting on this. If I were to have purple lights on, but notice something on here. I'm wearing a darker color so it doesn't reflect as much up into my eye of my face,
But also there's contrast against the wall.
note the difference. Look at how this is blowing out. Just from changing to a lighter green from a darker purple. So yeah, the color palette you use will affect it. We've got probably only time for a couple more because it is like 8:19.
Do we have some other questions? Well, one is about when is S-Log being taught?
Location lighting.
So yes, you will learn it later in the classes. All of a sudden the chat went quiet.
All right, then I say we wrap this up.
Can you use the fill light for something other than fill? Yes, he was using it as the backlight.
Yeah, I was using it as a backlight. Okay, real fast. Basically, the name of the light is where you're using it and what its job is. I could use any of these as a key light, any of these as a fill light, and any of these as a backlight. It just depends on what I'm needing. In fact, being quite honest, if I were to basically go, my key light's over here, my fill light's over here, my backlight's over here, the instant I turn a completely different direction, I've now made fill, key, backlight. Just by turning, it turns the object. So literally, it's a balancing act. It really is.
How do you feel about LUTs?
How do I feel about LUTs? Make your own.
Any last minute questions? If not, we're gonna wrap.
So I say we go ahead and wrap this up. Jessica.
Got 3 thank yous, so 4 thank yous, 5 thank yous.
Thank you very much for everybody for attending. Our next one will be whenever we decide the next one will be.
You're all the way gone when you did that.
It was gone?
Oh, no, you're echoing.
Now I'm echoing. Okay, so without any further ado, I'll turn off the effects and basically thank everybody for being here. I'm going to stop the recording now so I can basically breathe and let everybody say good night. That is live here. So to the people that are watching this in the recording, I wish you well, and I hope you enjoyed this little juggling act of 2-person crew.